Awakening the Forgotten Guardian. On the barren planet of Erindor IV, a place long forgotten by most galactic travelers, silence ruled supreme. The desolation stretched for miles, a sea of jagged rocks under an eternally gray sky. Beneath this wasteland, a team of Zixorian archaeologists worked tirelessly, driven by an unshakable belief that the planet's crust hid something extraordinary. Their leader, Zira, stood at the excavation site's edge, her slender, azure-hued fingers clenching her datapad. Her sharp, bioluminescent eyes scanned the readings as her team chipped away at an unyielding metallic surface buried under centuries of sediment. The object beneath was no ordinary artifact. Even before it was fully uncovered, its immense size and unnatural symmetry hinted at something monumental. "It's not a structure," Zira murmured, her voice a mix of awe and disbelief. "It's something alive." Her team paused, exchanging uneasy glances. Such phrases often marked the beginning of legends or nightmares. The Zixorian crew wasn't sure they wanted to be part of either. Finally, with a crack that echoed like a thunderclap, the last layer of stone fell away, revealing the artifact in its entirety. What they had unearthed was colossal. An intricately designed humanoid figure, its surface a patchwork of gleaming alloys. Its proportions dwarfed any known machinery, and it radiated a sense of silent purpose. "What is this thing?" one of the crew whispered, their voice trembling. Zira stepped closer, her datapad now useless against the sheer scale of their find. Her voice was steadier than her hands as she replied, "A relic. No, a weapon, but not one meant for destruction." The alien archaeologists circled the giant cautiously, activating their scanners. Symbols they couldn't decipher began to glow faintly along its surface. With every passing second, the air grew heavier, charged with energy. "It's waking up," Zira realized, her voice barely audible. Suddenly, a deep rumble emanated from the artifact, vibrating the very ground beneath them. Lights flickered to life across its frame, and a low, metallic voice emerged, reverberating through the cavern. "System rebooting. Identification: Sleeper Titan 001. Designation: Colossus. Purpose: Protectors of humanity. Status: Dormant, awaiting orders." The Zixorians froze, their minds racing to comprehend the implications. The myths of humanity's ancient creations were dismissed as stories for the young, a race long extinct, leaving behind only ruins and whispers of their unparalleled ingenuity. Yet here it was, standing before them, very much real and terrifyingly operational. The Colossus's massive head turned, its glowing sapphire eyes locking onto Zira. "Where am I?" it asked, its voice a perfect blend of mechanical efficiency and human-like tone. "You are on Erindor IV," Zira managed, her voice cracking under the weight of her words. "You've been buried here for thousands of years. We awakened you." The Colossus remained silent for a moment, processing the information. Then its tone changed, carrying an undercurrent of grief. "Thousands of years. My creators, where are the humans?" Zira hesitated, unsure how to respond. The truth hung heavy in the air. Humanity was gone. The record spoke of their annihilation in a catastrophic galactic war. Yet, facing this machine, this relic of a forgotten age, she struggled to voice the reality. They're gone," she finally admitted. "Humans vanished from the galaxy a long time ago. We don't know if any survived." The Colossus stepped forward, the ground shaking with each calculated movement. "Humanity cannot vanish," it declared, its tone firm and resolute. "I was created to protect them. If they are gone, I must know why. I must find any remnants of their existence." Zira felt a chill run through her as the machine's glowing eyes intensified. "We didn't mean to disturb you," she began, her tone pleading. "We only sought to learn from the past. Perhaps we can help you." The Colossus turned its gaze to the Zixorian crew, its towering presence casting a shadow over them. "I do not require help, but if you wish to understand, then know this: Humanity built me to endure. And now I must ensure their legacy endures as well. Zyra realized, with a mixture of awe and dread, that they had unleashed something far greater than they could control. The Colossus was not just a machine. It was a living embodiment of humanity's resolve, unyielding, unstoppable, and unwilling to let the galaxy forget its creators. As the Colossus prepared to leave the excavation site, Zyra and her team stood frozen in its wake. The machine's mission was clear, but its path would reshape the galaxy, stirring memories of a race whose ingenuity had once reigned supreme. For better or worse, humanity's sleeper titan had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. A legacy reclaimed. The Colossus emerged from the depths of Erindor IV, its towering form silhouetted against the planet's stormy skies. Zyra and her team trailed behind, their movements hesitant. The alien archaeologists had uncovered many mysteries in their careers, but none had ever prepared them for the magnitude of this one. They stood in the shadow of a relic not of their world, a machine that seemed to embody an extinct race's final hope. The winds howled across the barren surface as the Colossus raised its head, scanning the horizon. Its glowing sapphire eyes pulsed, a signal rippling outward. The Zyxorian sensors picked up a sudden influx of galactic communications. The Titan was speaking, broadcasting across 1,000 frequencies in an ancient language they couldn't decipher. "What's it doing?" one of the crew members whispered, their voice edged with fear. "Searching," Zyra replied, her own tone heavy with a mix of wonder and foreboding. "It's looking for something." The Colossus's voice, deep and resonant, cut through the storm. "Signal weak. No response. Humanity's network. Silent." It paused, then added, "The galaxy is darker than I remember." Zyra stepped forward cautiously. "What are you looking for?" she asked. "Signs of life," the Titan replied without turning to face her. "Humanity cannot be gone. There must be survivors. If not, then their enemies must still exist." The weight of its words hung in the air. Zyra's throat tightened. Enemies. The Colossus turned its glowing eyes toward her, its expressionless face somehow carrying a profound gravity. "Those who destroyed my creators. The ones who reduced Earth to ash. They are out there." The Zyxorians exchanged uneasy glances. Legends of Earth's fall were whispered in hushed tones across the galaxy, but no one knew the full truth. The humans were an enigma, powerful yet reckless, brilliant yet flawed. Their creations, however, had surpassed them, and now one stood before them, poised to dig up the past. "You don't have to do this alone," Zyra said, her voice steady despite her apprehension. "We can help you." The Colossus regarded her for a moment, its unblinking gaze unnerving. "Your kind is not human. What can you offer?" Zyra stepped closer, emboldened by her own curiosity. "Perspective. Knowledge of the galaxy as it is now. You've been dormant for millennia. Much has changed." The Titan seemed to consider her words. After a moment, it nodded, an action both mechanical and oddly human. "Very well. You may assist. But understand this, my mission is not negotiable. Humanity's legacy must endure." Within hours, the Zyxorian crew had reassembled their transport vessel, a sleek craft barely large enough to accommodate the Colossus's immense frame. The Titan, ever efficient, folded itself into a compact state, integrating directly with the ship's systems. Zyra marveled as the ship's interface glowed with new life, far beyond its original design. "This is incredible," Zyra muttered, her fingers flying across the controls. "It's rewriting our systems in real time." "It's more than that," one of her engineers added, wide-eyed. "It's upgrading them." The ship's engines roared as it ascended, breaking through Erindor IV's turbulent atmosphere. The Colossus's voice resonated through the cockpit. "Destination: uncharted regions. Signal analysis indicates a faint human distress beacon. It may lead us to an ark." Zyra frowned. "A human ark? You think there are survivors?" "There must be," The Colossus replied. If not, their memory will be preserved. The journey to the beacon's source was fraught with tension. The signal grew stronger as they neared the outer rim of the galaxy, a region shrouded in mystery. Along the way, the Zixorian crew noticed subtle changes in their ship's systems. The Colossus was transforming it. Shields stronger, engines faster, sensors sharper. It was as if the vessel itself had become an extension of the Titan's will. But the upgrades came at a cost. The Galactic Council, the governing body of interstellar civilizations, had detected the anomaly. Reports of a sleeper Titan's awakening spread like wildfire, causing panic. The Council labeled the Colossus a threat, issuing orders for its immediate destruction. Unaware of the looming danger, Zyra and her crew marveled as they approached their destination, a derelict station orbiting a dying star. The beacon's signal pulsed steadily, beckoning them closer. The Colossus's voice cut through the tension. This station housed humanity's outposts during their final days. Prepare for docking. The crew hesitated but complied, their curiosity outweighing their fear. The station was vast but lifeless, its corridors echoing with the creaks of age-old metal. Dust hung in the air, and faint traces of human ingenuity were etched into every surface. Symbols, diagrams, and tools that hinted at a once thriving civilization. Zyra stopped in front of a massive sealed door, her hand hovering over the control panel. "What's behind here?" she asked. The Colossus, now projecting a holographic image of itself, replied, "Survival, or what remains of it." The door groaned as it opened, revealing a chamber filled with cryopods. Hundreds of them, arranged in neat rows, each containing a figure encased in shimmering frost. The crew gasped, their breath catching in their throats. "They're alive," Zyra whispered, her voice trembling. "Humans, still alive." The Colossus stepped forward, its hologram flickering. "This is only the beginning. Humanity endures." But their moment of awe was interrupted as alarms blared across the station. The Galactic Council's forces had arrived, their ships surrounding the outpost. Over the comms, a stern voice rang out, "Surrender the Titan, or face annihilation." The Colossus's eyes glowed brighter. "Prepare for resistance. I will protect what remains of my creators, no matter the cost." As Zyra and her crew scrambled to defend themselves, they realized the stakes had never been higher. The Colossus was not just a relic, it was a force of nature, and its mission was far from over. Chaos in the void. The derelict station hummed with sudden life as its ancient systems responded to the Galactic Council's arrival. Dim emergency lights flickered, casting long shadows across the rows of cryopods, each encasing the frozen remnants of humanity. Outside, the Council's fleet maneuvered into an aggressive formation, their ships bristling with weapons aimed squarely at the station. Inside the cramped cockpit of the Zixorian vessel, Zyra's voice wavered as she spoke into the comms. "This is Dr. Zyra of the Zixorian Empire. We've discovered a historic artifact and living remnants of a long-lost species. We mean no harm." The Galactic Council's reply was swift and cold. "Dr. Zyra, you have unleashed a weapon of mass destruction. The sleeper Titan must be neutralized. Stand down or face the consequences." Zyra's heart raced as she turned to the Colossus, its holographic presence towering over her. "They're not going to listen. They see you as a threat." The Colossus's glowing sapphire eyes narrowed. "They fear what they do not understand. Their weapons are irrelevant. My priority remains the protection of humanity." Suddenly, the station trembled as the Council's fleet fired a warning volley. The cryopods rattled, and a faint groan echoed through the ancient structure. One of the Zixorian crew shouted, "The station can't take this kind of firepower." The Colossus stepped toward the control interface, its hologram shimmering with intensity. "Then we will ensure it doesn't need to." A Titan's power unleashed. The Colossus began interfacing with the station's systems, its energy pulsing through the decrepit circuitry like a heartbeat. Lights flickered to full brightness, and long-dormant defenses powered up, turret arrays swiveling toward the incoming fleet. The station transformed from a forgotten relic to a bastion of defiance. "Warning," the Colossus announced, its voice calm yet commanding. "Retreat now, or face retaliation." The Council's fleet hesitated for a moment, their captains deliberating. But the order came down to press the attack. More ships moved into formation, their weapons locking onto the station. Then, all at once, they fired. Blinding beams of energy surged toward the station, but before they could connect, an impenetrable barrier flared to life around the outpost. The Council ship's firepower ricocheted harmlessly into space. "How is that possible?" Zyra gasped. Her crew stared at the holographic readouts in disbelief. The Colossus responded without a hint of pride. This station was built during humanity's final days. Its defenses were designed to withstand extinction-level threats. It seems they succeeded. The Sixorians could only watch in awe as the Colossus activated offensive measures. Plasma cannons emerged from hidden compartments, unleashing precise, devastating salvos at the Council fleet. Ships exploded in brilliant bursts, forcing the remaining vessels to scatter. The cry of the past. In the midst of the chaos, Zyra's focus shifted back to the cryopods. "They're still alive, but the pods are deteriorating. If we don't stabilize them, it won't matter what happens out there." The Colossus turned its attention briefly to Zyra, its glowing eyes softening. "I will allocate resources to preserve them. You must ensure their safety." Zyra nodded, her resolve hardening. She and her team raced to the cryopod chamber, working to bypass failing systems and reroute power. Every moment counted. Zyra, one of the crew members, called. "This pod is marked with something unusual. It looks important." She hurried over, her eyes widening as she read the inscription. "Designation: Arc Commander," it read. Inside the pod was a human, their features sharp and regal even in stasis. Zyra's heart pounded. Whoever this was, they held answers, perhaps even the key to the mystery of humanity's downfall. The galaxy takes notice. As the battle raged, the Colossus intercepted communications from across the galaxy. Word of the Titans' awakening and the discovery of humans spread like wildfire. Some civilizations called for immediate destruction, terrified of humanity's return. Others watched with interest, sensing an opportunity in the chaos. The Galactic Council's fleet, battered and fragmented, regrouped. Their flagship, an imposing vessel bristling with weaponry, broadcast a final ultimatum. "Sleeper Titan, your defiance jeopardizes the stability of the galaxy. Surrender now, or we will unleash our full arsenal." The Colossus replied, its voice steady and unyielding. "You mistake my mission for aggression. Humanity entrusted me with their legacy, and I will not fail them. Fire if you must, but know that you provoke forces beyond your comprehension." The flagship's captain hesitated. Despite the Titan's calm tone, there was an undeniable edge to its words, a promise of devastation that sent a chill through the bridge crew. A beacon of hope. In the cryopod chamber, Zyra's team managed to stabilize the systems just as the station trembled under another barrage. The Colossus's voice echoed through the chamber. "Time is short. I have detected another beacon, a stronger one. It may lead to more survivors." Zyra looked up from her work. "We can't leave these people behind. They're too fragile to move." The Colossus hesitated, a brief pause that seemed almost contemplative. "Then I will shield this station. Humanity's remnants will not fall again." Before Zyra could respond, the station's systems began to shift once more. The Colossus was preparing the facility for long-term defense, its energy integrating with every aspect of the structure. It was sacrificing mobility for permanence, ensuring the cryopods would remain protected even if it couldn't stay. As the station's defenses intensified, the Council's fleet began to retreat, realizing they were outmatched. The Colossus's warning had become reality. Humanity's ingenuity, even in ruin, was more formidable than they had anticipated. The journey resumes. With the immediate threat neutralized, The Colossus turned its attention to the next beacon. The Zyxorian crew, now fully committed to the mission, prepared for departure. "Where will this lead us?" Zyra asked, her voice tinged with anticipation. "To the truth," the Colossus replied, its voice resolute, "and to the answers we all seek." As the Zyxorian vessel broke away from the station, now a shining fortress against the void, Zyra couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the edge of something monumental. The Titan's quest was no longer just about finding humanity. It was about reclaiming a legacy that had been all but forgotten. And as the stars stretched into streaks of light, the galaxy braced for the awakening of a force that would change everything. The hunt for humanity's heart. The Zyxorian vessel glided through the void of deep space, guided by a faint but persistent signal. The Colossus, integrated with the ship's systems, monitored the beacon with unwavering focus. Its sapphire eyes occasionally flickered on the main console, casting a soft glow that filled the cabin. The signal wasn't random. It was deliberate, encoded with a precision that only humans could create. Zyra sat at the helm, her crew quiet but tense. They were venturing into uncharted territory, a region of space known as the Rift Expanse. Its reputation preceded it, a graveyard of ships where navigation systems failed and strange phenomena warped reality. Yet here they were, chasing the faint hope of a human legacy. "Are we sure about this?" one of her crew asked, their voice trembling. "The rift isn't just dangerous, it's cursed." Zyra didn't look up. "We're past turning back. If there's even a chance humans are out there, we owe it to history to find them." The Colossus's voice resonated through the cabin. "Fear is irrelevant. Humanity faced such obstacles countless times and prevailed. This rift is no different." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The Titan's confidence was undeniable, but it carried a weight that none of them fully understood. The beacon's puzzle. As the ship crossed into the rift, reality itself seemed to shift. Stars bent at odd angles, and sensor readings became erratic. The crew worked furiously to keep the vessel stable while the Colossus directed them with calculated precision. "The beacon signal is fragmenting," the Colossus announced. "Its origin lies within an anomalous region. I will adjust the ship's systems to compensate." Zyra's console flickered as the Colossus reconfigured the navigation protocols. The vessel groaned under the strain, but the adjustments worked. A clearer path emerged, leading them toward a massive asteroid field. The signal strengthened, pulsing rhythmically now. It wasn't just a distress call, it was a message. Zyra leaned forward, decoding the faint transmissions. "It's repeating a phrase," she said, her voice tinged with awe. "We are the last." The words sent a chill through the cabin. What awaited them on the other side of the rift? The ark within the rift. As the ship approached the source, a massive structure emerged from the darkness. Suspended among the asteroids was a colossal ark, far larger than the derelict station they had left behind. Its hull was scarred by time and battle, but it still emanated an undeniable presence. Humanity's fingerprints were all over it. The Colossus spoke with reverence. "This is Ark Genesis, one of the last vessels humanity launched before their fall. If its systems are intact, it may contain not just survivors, but knowledge, everything they hope to preserve." Zyra's heart raced as she prepared the docking procedures. "We've found it," she whispered. "We've really found it." The crew braced as the ship docked with the Ark. The Colossus interfaced with its ancient systems, bringing the dormant vessel to life. Lights flickered on, and faint sounds echoed through the cavernous corridors as airlocks hissed open. "Proceed with caution," the Colossus warned. "This Ark was designed to endure, but it may still hold surprises." Echoes of the past. The team entered the Ark, their footsteps echoing against the cold metal floors. The air was stale but breathable, a testament to the ship's resilient life support systems. Along the walls, faded murals depicted scenes of Earth's history, great cities, starry skies, and humanity's first steps into space. Each image felt like a memory, a glimpse into a world long lost. Zira stopped in front of one mural depicting humans standing hand in hand, their faces turned toward the stars. She traced the outline of the figures with her fingers, feeling a pang of emotion she couldn't explain. Why would they paint this? One of her crew asked. To remind themselves of who they were, Zira replied softly, even in the face of extinction. Deeper into the ark, they found the source of the beacon. A central chamber housed a massive console surrounded by cryopods, their occupants still in stasis. The Colossus's hologram appeared beside the console, its gaze fixed on the pods. These are not random survivors, it said. This is the Ark Council, scientists, leaders, and innovators. They were humanity's last hope for rebuilding civilization. Zira's breath caught. If we wake them, humanity could rise again. The Guardian awakes. As the team worked to stabilize the systems, an alarm blared. The Colossus's voice sharpened. Hostile entities detected. The Galactic Council has found us. Panic rippled through the crew, but the Colossus remained calm. This ark contains advanced defenses. I will activate them. The ship shuddered as ancient weaponry emerged from hidden compartments, targeting the incoming fleet. Beams of energy lit up the void as the ark fired with precision, cutting through the enemy's ranks. The Zixorian crew watched in awe, their fear slowly replaced by admiration. But the Colossus's tone turned grim. They've deployed a disruptor array. It's designed to neutralize my systems. I can hold them off, but only for a limited time. Zira stepped forward, her voice steady. What do we need to do? The Colossus's eyes glowed brighter. Wake the Ark Council. They must know what has become of their people. Humanity's future depends on their guidance. Zira nodded, moving quickly to the console. As the cryopods began to open, the first human in centuries took a shaky breath, their eyes fluttering open. The room filled with an electric energy, a sense of hope rekindled. The fight for the future. The Galactic Council's fleet pressed their attack, their disruptor array growing stronger. The Colossus, weakened but unyielding, continued to defend the Ark with every ounce of its power. Inside the Ark, the first human, a man with piercing eyes and a commanding presence, looked around, disoriented. Zira stepped forward, her voice filled with urgency. You're safe for now, but we need your help. The galaxy isn't ready for humanity's return. The man's gaze hardened as he took in his surroundings. Then we'll make them ready. As the Ark's defenses roared to life, the Colossus stood as the ultimate protector. Humanity's spark had been reignited, but the battle for their survival was far from over. Humanity stirs. The air inside Ark Genesis felt charged with purpose, as if the ship itself recognized the awakening of its long-dormant passengers. Cryopods hissed open one by one, releasing humans who had been frozen for centuries. Each figure emerged cautiously, their faces etched with wonder and confusion. The Zixorian crew stood in stunned silence, overwhelmed by the sight of humanity returning to the galaxy. The first to rise was Commander Elias Marrow, a tall man with sharp, calculating eyes that seemed to take in the situation all at once. He stepped forward, his movements steady despite the years spent in stasis. His voice, deep and commanding, broke the silence. "Status report," he said, his tone firm. Zira hesitated, unsure how to summarize the chaos outside and the ancient war that had reduced his species to myth. "Commander Marrow," she began, "you've been asleep for centuries. Humanity. It's gone." The Colossus interrupted, its holographic form materializing beside her. Its glowing sapphire eyes locked onto Marrow. "I regret to inform you that Earth was destroyed. Your people were scattered, and I have found no evidence of widespread survival. But there is hope." Marrow's expression didn't falter. "Hope? Explain." The Colossus gestured toward the awakened humans. "You are humanity's last leaders, scientists, and innovators. Your mission was to preserve your race and rebuild. That mission begins now. A leadership reborn." The newly awakened humans gathered, their confusion giving way to determination as Commander Marrow addressed them. His voice carried the weight of a leader accustomed to difficult decisions. "We are the survivors of a great tragedy," Marrow said, his words steady and deliberate. "But survival alone is not enough. We must reclaim what was lost. We must show the galaxy who we are." The humans, though weary, stood taller. Their resilience shone through, a spark of the defiance that had defined their ancestors. Zira, watching from the edge of the room, felt a strange sense of pride welling within her. "This is why they feared you," she murmured to herself. A battle outside. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council's fleet intensified their assault. Their disruptor array sent waves of energy surging toward the Ark, shaking its massive frame. The Colossus struggled to maintain control over the Ark systems, its hologram flickering as it diverted power to counter the attack. "I cannot hold this line indefinitely," the Colossus warned. "The disruptor array is targeting my core functions. Without intervention, the Ark will be vulnerable." Commander Marrow turned to Zira, his eyes sharp. "What's the situation?" "The Galactic Council seized the Colossus, and now you, as a threat," Zira explained quickly. "They won't stop until you're destroyed." Marrow's jaw tightened. "Then we don't give them that option. What resources do we have?" The Colossus's hologram steadied. "This Ark was equipped with advanced defenses and prototype weaponry. I can guide you in activating them." Marrow nodded. "Do it." The Ark fights back. Under the Colossus's direction, the humans and Sixorian crew worked together to power up the Ark's dormant systems. Massive railguns emerged from concealed compartments, their barrels glowing with energy. Turret arrays lined the Ark's hull, swiveling into position. The Galactic Council's fleet opened fire, their ships unleashing a storm of plasma rounds and energy beams. But the Ark retaliated with devastating precision. Its railguns fired, cutting through enemy ships with bursts of light that lit up the rift. Inside the Ark, Marrow coordinated the defense. "Target their disruptor array," he ordered. "It's the key to their assault." The Colossus executed the command, directing the Ark's firepower toward the array. The Galactic Council's flagship reeled as the disruptor device was hit, its shield systems faltering. The price of defiance. As the battle raged, the strain on the Ark grew evident. Power systems flickered, and structural damage began to accumulate. Zira turned to Marrow, her voice urgent. "We can't keep this up forever. We need a plan to end this." Marrow's gaze shifted to the Colossus. "What's our best option?" The Colossus's eyes glowed brighter. "There is a high-energy pulse weapon aboard the Ark. It was designed as a last resort. However, its use would leave the Ark defenseless for several minutes." Marrow didn't hesitate. "Do it. But we need to ensure the Council doesn't regroup during that window." Zira stepped forward. "Let my crew help. We can deploy countermeasures to buy you time." Marrow nodded. "Then let's make it happen." The turning point. The Colossus activated the pulse weapon, its energy core building to a brilliant crescendo. The Ark's railguns and turrets fired relentlessly, holding off the Council's fleet as the weapon charged. Inside the Ark, Marrow addressed his people. "This is the moment we define our future. We are not just survivors. We are humanity. And humanity does not kneel." The pulse weapon unleashed a blinding wave of energy, engulfing the surrounding ships. The Galactic Council's fleet was thrown into disarray, their formations shattered. In the chaos, the remaining vessels began to retreat, unwilling to face the Ark's wrath any longer. Hope rekindled. As the rift fell silent once more, the Ark's systems powered down, and the survivors breathed a collective sigh of relief. The Galactic Council had been driven back, but the battle had taken its toll. Commander Marrow turned to the Colossus. "What's our next step?" "We must gather humanity's remnants and prepare for the challenges ahead," the Colossus replied. "This was only the beginning. The galaxy now knows you exist, and it will not remain idle." Marrow's expression hardened. "Then we won't either." Humanity has been given a second chance. We won't waste it. As the Ark drifted toward the next beacon, a sense of unity filled the air. Humanity was stirring, its spirit unbroken despite the centuries. The galaxy had underestimated them once, but it wouldn't make that mistake again. The echo of Earth. The silence of deep space enveloped Ark Genesis as it drifted toward the coordinates of the next beacon. The humans, freshly awakened from centuries of cryosleep, worked tirelessly to repair the Ark systems, aided by the Zixorian crew. Despite the recent battle, the atmosphere inside the ship brimmed with hope and determination. For the first time in millennia, humanity had a purpose: to reclaim their place in the galaxy. Commander Elias Mero stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the swirling nebula ahead. The Colossus's hologram flickered beside him, its sapphire eye steady. "The beacon we're approaching is ancient," the Colossus explained. "Its signal strength suggests it is a repository, perhaps a fragment of Earth's history or technology." Mero nodded, his expression unreadable. "If it's a piece of Earth, we'll find it. Humanity needs more than survival. It needs a foundation." Behind him, Zyra approached cautiously. "Commander, I admire your resolve, but this path is dangerous. The Galactic Council won't let you rebuild without resistance." Mero turned, his gaze sharp but calm. "They've already underestimated us. We don't intend to give them a second chance." A beacon of memory. As the Ark neared the beacon's location, a structure emerged from the darkness. A massive orbital station, shrouded in layers of cosmic dust. Its design was unmistakably human, with elegant symmetry and an imposing silhouette. The beacon pulsed faintly from its core, a rhythmic heartbeat in the void. The Colossus spoke with a rare note of reverence. "This is the Elysium Archive. It was one of Earth's final projects before the collapse. It houses knowledge, culture, and records. Everything humanity sought to preserve." The crew worked to establish a connection with the archive. As they approached, the station's dormant systems flickered to life, scanning the Ark before granting them access. A docking arm extended, locking the Ark into place. Zyra peered through the viewport, her voice tinged with awe. "This isn't just an archive. It's a piece of Earth." Mero's jaw tightened. "Then we have to protect it." Inside the archive, the team entered the station, their footsteps echoing in its hollow corridors. The air was thin but breathable, preserved by the station's automated life support systems. Along the walls, holographic projections flickered to life, displaying images of Earth's history, lush forests, towering cities, and moments of triumph. One projection caught Mero's attention. A group of humans standing atop a mountain, gazing at a sunrise. The words beneath it read, "Even in darkness, we rise." Zyra stopped beside him. "Your people believed in hope, even when the odds were against them." Mero didn't reply, but his silence spoke volumes. Deeper into the station, they found the archive's core, a massive chamber lined with data vaults. The Colossus interfaced with the system, its hologram glowing brighter as it accessed the ancient records. "This archive contains the sum of humanity's knowledge," the Colossus announced. "Science, art, philosophy, and even tactical data from the wars that led to Earth's destruction. It is a blueprint for rebuilding." Zyra's eyes widened. "This is a treasure trove. With this, humanity can rise stronger than ever." The Council's shadow. As the team worked to retrieve the data, alarms blared through the station. The Colossus's voice turned sharp. "Hostile vessels detected. The Galactic Council is here." Mero's fists clenched. "They tracked us." Zyra's crew scrambled back to the Ark, while Mero and a few others stayed behind to defend the archive. The Colossus coordinated the station's automated defenses, activating turret arrays and energy shields. The Council's fleet surrounded the station, their weapons charging. A stern voice echoed through the comms. "Sleeper Titan and human survivors, surrender the archive immediately. Humanity's era is over." Mero stepped forward, his voice unyielding. Humanity's era has just begun. A desperate stand. The battle erupted with blinding flashes of light. The station's defenses, though formidable, were outnumbered. The Ark joined the fight, its railguns targeting the largest Council vessels. Inside the archive, Marrow directed the evacuation, ensuring the retrieved data was securely uploaded to the Ark. But the Council's forces pressed harder, their disruptor weapons wreaking havoc on the station's systems. The Colossus's hologram flickered, its voice strained. The archive will not hold much longer. We must secure the data and retreat. Marrow's jaw tightened. What about the station? It cannot be saved, the Colossus replied. But its knowledge already lives on within the Ark. Marrow hesitated, his gaze sweeping across the chamber. This place was more than an archive. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience. Leaving it behind felt like abandoning a piece of their soul. A sacrifice for survival. As the Council's fleet closed in, Marrow made a decision. We'll rig the archive to overload. If we can't keep it, we'll make sure they can't take it. Zyra's voice cracked over the comms. Commander, you can't be serious. I am, Marrow replied. This is bigger than any of us. Humanity's survival depends on what we've saved, not what we leave behind. The Colossus began rerouting power to the archive's core, preparing it for a massive energy burst. As Marrow and the others retreated to the Ark, the station's lights dimmed, and the beacon's pulse grew erratic. The echo endures. The Ark broke away from the station, just as the archive erupted in a blinding explosion, sending shockwaves rippling through space. The Council's fleet scattered, their ships caught in the blast. The station was gone, but its knowledge had been saved. Inside the Ark, the crew worked in silence, their faces reflecting a mix of relief and sorrow. Zyra approached Marrow, her voice soft. You made the right call. Marrow stared out the viewport, his expression hard. We saved what mattered. But this isn't over. The Colossus's voice resonated through the ship. The galaxy now knows humanity will not fade quietly. We will endure. As the Ark plotted its course to the next beacon, the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they were part of something monumental. Humanity's echo was growing louder, and the galaxy was beginning to listen. Humanity's roar. The Ark Genesis glided through the dark expanse of space, its reinforced hull bearing the scars of countless battles. The ship had become a symbol of defiance, a beacon of humanity's indomitable spirit. Inside, Commander Elias Marrow stood in the control chamber, his gaze fixed on the navigation console. They were headed toward the final beacon, a signal so powerful it pierced through the galaxy's chaos, promising something extraordinary. The final piece of the puzzle, the Colossus said, its hologram glowing faintly beside Marrow. If this beacon holds what I believe, it may change the galaxy's fate. Marrow nodded, his voice steady. Then we finish this. A planet of shadows. As the Ark neared the source of the beacon, the crew gasped in awe. Before them loomed a massive planet, shrouded in darkness and swirling energy. Its surface flickered with faint lights, like a sleeping giant stirring after centuries of slumber. Zyra's voice broke the silence. This isn't just a signal source. It's something alive. The Colossus spoke with a rare tone of anticipation. This is Sanctuary Prime, humanity's final stronghold. It was believed lost during the galactic collapse. If its systems are intact, it may still hold humanity's greatest achievement. As the Ark descended into the planet's atmosphere, they encountered a sprawling cityscape, long abandoned but eerily intact. Towering skyscrapers, sleek and angular, stood as silent sentinels of a bygone era. The beacon pulsed from the planet's core, drawing them toward an ancient command center. A revelation of power. Inside the command center, the Colossus interfaced with the planetary systems, activating dormant machinery. Lights flared to life, illuminating a vast chamber filled with consoles, holograms, and a central device unlike anything they'd seen before. a glowing sphere suspended in a web of intricate machinery. The Colossus's voice brimmed with awe. This is the Nexus Core. It was designed to unify humanity's strongest AI systems, a collective intelligence capable of guiding civilization through its darkest days. Marrow stepped closer, his voice hushed. Is it still functional? The Colossus paused. Yes, but its activation requires a choice. It will awaken a network of defenses, technologies, and resources, but it will also broadcast humanity's resurgence across the galaxy. There will be no hiding after this. Zira's eyes widened. If the Galactic Council learns of this, they will come. Marrow interrupted, his tone resolute. But they're coming anyway. It's time we stop running and show them what humanity truly is. The final battle. The moment the Nexus Core was activated, the planet roared to life. Ancient weaponry powered up, and massive shields enveloped the city. Across the galaxy, the beacon's signal grew stronger, spreading humanity's resurgence to every corner of the void. It didn't take long for the Galactic Council's fleet to arrive. Thousands of ships swarmed the skies, their intent clear: to destroy the Nexus Core and extinguish humanity's return. Marrow stood on the Ark's bridge, addressing his crew. This is our moment. We are the spark that will reignite humanity's flame. Fight for the past, for the present, and for the future. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. The Colossus directed Sanctuary Prime's defenses, unleashing waves of advanced weaponry that decimated the enemy fleet. The Ark, now fully armed and operational, joined the fight, its railguns and plasma turrets carving through enemy ranks. Human ingenuity shone brightest in the face of overwhelming odds. The Zixorian crew fought alongside their human allies, their loyalty solidified through shared struggle. As ship after ship fell, the Council's forces began to falter, their commanders shaken by the ferocity of humanity's resurgence. A new era. The battle ended with the Galactic Council's retreat. Sanctuary Prime stood victorious, its shields shimmering against the dark backdrop of space. Inside the Nexus Core chamber, Marrow and Zira watched as the Colossus transmitted humanity's message across the stars. This is humanity's legacy, the Colossus declared, its voice resonating through the galaxy. We are not relics of the past. We are the architects of the future. To those who stand with us, you will find an ally. To those who oppose us, you will find a force unyielding. The message reached countless civilizations, some curious, others fearful. But one thing was certain: humanity was no longer a forgotten echo. It was a roar that demanded to be heard. Conclusion: the dawn of hope. As the dust settled, Marrow stood with Zira on the observation deck of the Ark, gazing at the planet below. Sanctuary Prime glowed like a beacon, a testament to what humanity could achieve. What now? Zira asked, her voice soft. Marrow smiled faintly. Now we rebuild. We honor the sacrifices of those who came before us and forge a future worthy of their memory. The Colossus's voice joined them, steady and resolute. The galaxy has changed, but so has humanity. This is not an end. It is a beginning. The Ark drifted among the stars, carrying humanity's hope, strength, and determination. And as the Nexus Core continued to pulse, its light reached across the galaxy, a symbol of unity, resilience, and a promise. Humanity had returned, and it would not be silenced.